der wir uns zutiefst verbunden fühlen. Ray, du hast das Wort.
Vielen Dank. Wow, wow, wow. Fangen wir an mit einem Lied. Die Gedanken sind frei.
Wunderbar, wunderbar. So.
Und es nicht mehr geregnet. Nicht regnet. Also noch eine Bitte. Bitte. Seht euch um. Seht euch um. Es ist so eine Ermutigung für mich, hier zu stehen. Aber Sie müssen, seht euch um zu sehen, wie man das machen wird. Ja? Also, wenn es amerikanische Streitkräfte hier sind, would I say a word to these Americans? And I would call your attention to the Taube, the dove there. When I first saw it in the Mitte, I thought maybe it was a chicken hawk. But it's not a chicken hawk, it's a dove. Now to the American Soldaten, I would say that you are not only allowed, you are required to disobey illegal orders. I'm old enough to remember. I was am Leben während des Krieges. When I say the war, I have to say the Second World War these days. But I was around for Nuremberg, and I remember how important and how seriously we all took that. And one of the Nuremberg principles, of course, is that we are individually responsible for not obeying illegal orders. And those illegal orders, those are the ones that order a 22-year-old young man to push it, or a woman, to push a button in Nevada and kill suspected militants. Suspected militants? Yeah, because we have their telephone number. That's enough to make them suspected? Suspected because they had lunch with a former brother-in-law of a communist that they knew 20 years ago. So, don't let anyone tell you these are very precisely targeted victims. They are not. The missiles are precise. The Hellfire missiles, I have to zugeben, die sind sehr präzise. Aber the Unterlagen, the intelligence is miserable. And so lots of people get killed. And so, without further ado, remember, Nuremberg principles, we are not required to obey an immoral or an unlawful law or order, and we are personally responsible for not obeying that order. Now, very little has been said here about why, and I address this also to the GIs in the audience, and I know there are several. I won't ask you to raise your hands. I know this is, this is very clear to most of us, but in September, Pope Francis, Franciscus, was before our Congress, and he was very precise in criticizing what he called the blood-soaked arms traders. The blood-soaked arms traders. Die blutdurchtränkten Waffenhändler. So those of you GIs who are here, or even part of the Bundeswehr, realize who you're working for, okay? Realize who you're really working for, It's the blood-soaked arms traders, and they are making $1 million on you wearing these uniforms and you pushing these buttons and you killing people within 3 minutes of 3 seconds of killing of that. Now, I will just add one thing, and it has to do with the only general of the Marine Corps who won 2 Medals of Honor. His name was Smedley Butler. He served, he retired about 80 years ago, but he was enforcing the Bank of America and other institutions and their ruling over Central America and the rest of the Americans. And when he finally figured out what he was doing, despite his 2 Medals of Honor, he said, war is a racket. War is a racket, okay? And what we should do is make sure that no more wars happen. And the way we do that is we make sure that the captains of industry, right, and the legislators in the Bundestag and in Congress are the first ones to be conscripted in these wars. Then the wars will stop. These are chicken hawks. So, in ending, I would just like to say how encouraged we who are working very hard in the United States of America against illegal wars, how encouraged we are to see you all out there, to see you close to this Ramstein base where this terrible stuff happens from the satellite link. So, I will go back to America and tell them what I see here. And what I see here, I wish you all could see. That's why I asked you to turn around and look at one another. It's an incredible Ermutigung. It's an incredible encouragement. So keep it up. Don't stop. Die Gedanken sind frei.
Ray, thank you so much. And all the best greetings.